I really wanted to make this video for a while now, but I just didn't know how to approach it. I really didn't want to be like a video where I would actually bait people into like fixing one season, or at least a content creator with 6 million subscribers that sugarcoats everything, trying to be all positive and such. But this is a video for Fortnite in 2024, and this is actually going to be my review of that year. And before I start with this review, yes, these are my opinions and thoughts of this year in Fortnite, so feel free to disagree with anything that I say, but other than that, let's just jump into it, starting off with Battle Royale. Huge shoutouts to Lil Smurf on YouTube for inspiring this video, and I just want to talk about Battle Royale first. So I don't know where to start with Battle Royale, but I just want to start with Season 1 and the beginning of Chapter 5. I really enjoyed the first season. We got like a brand new map, we got brand new weapons, and a brand new system with weapon attachments, and it felt really fun until you start realizing that it just got worse after Fortnite OG. So this chapter is giving us an entirely new map. We got like brand new POIs, and some of these POIs actually inspired new POIs in the future seasons for Chapter 5. With the weapons for Season 1, I really enjoyed every single weapon with the attachment system, and I really did feel like that some weapons felt more superior than the other ones, like the Frenzy Auto and the Nemesis AR, but I really love using every single Chapter 5 weapon throughout this year in Fortnite. And I noticed from watching my B-roll footage was that every single gun had bullet drop, like the sniper rifle, and it just felt like they're trying to mimic Call of Duty to a degree. I also noticed a giant negative with the new weapons is that their reload speed is super slow, even with like the ones that actually have hit scan as well, so I don't know what happened with the reload speed on that one. Another mechanic that they've actually introduced was the medallion system, and beforehand, like in Season 1, it would be used to actually recharge your shields, but with Seasons 2 to 4, they basically gave us like different abilities for these medallions, and they were actually good concepts going into Season 2, Season 3, and Season 4. And with every season for Fortnite, they ended up doing a crossover collaboration. You know, with Season 1 we got Family Guy, Metal Gear, and TMNT. Season 2 was full on Avatar Last Airbender and Korra, and then Star Wars. And then Season 3 gave us Magneto, Lethal Company, Fallout, Metallica, and Pirates of the Caribbean, and Pirates was really out of touch with the Wastelander themed season. And then we got into Season 4 with a full-on Marvel season, and then that ended with Fortnitemares that gave us Billy the Puppet from Saw, Edward Scissorhands, 3 Disney villains, Captain Hook, Cruella de Vil, and Maleficent. And then you go into Incredibles because they are here superhero themed and they're also Disney. And then you also have Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And some of these may feel out of place, but it does make sense to have them in like Fortnitemares, as well as like having it being like a superhero themed season, but it's not Marvel. The only collaboration that I would say that actually worked was in Season 1 with TMNT, and you know, the Underground, as well as like the Turtles, April, Splinter, and then you have like Shredder being a part of the society, you know. I will say that like TMNT actually worked for Season 1, while the other collaborations within Seasons 2 to 4 kind of didn't work. and it just felt out of place. The one thing I also want to criticize is the weapon metas that have actually evolved throughout chapter 5, and this was honestly like a mixed bag for me. And what I mean is that every single weapon within chapter 5 just didn't matter, but it was so much fun to use. You know, with season 1, we actually had a really good meta for weapons, and it felt like that the Reaper sniper rifle actually dominated with like certain attachments, and then like you have the battle for like the best AR with the striker, the nemesis, and the enforcer, and then the shotgun for like zero build was like the frenzy auto, as well as the gatekeeper shotgun from season 2. And then you go into like seasons 2, 3, and 4, where the themed weapons actually dominated more than the Fortnite weapon pool, because waterbending actually dominated as like not only as like a mid-range weapon, but also one of the best sniper rifles with no bullet drop and infinite ammo. And then season 3's weapon meta was so non-existent because of the magneto powers, the boombolt arrows, if you had the ringmaster scar medallion, and then you have the worst ones, which was the vehicles, which actually, even though with the nerfs, it's like they were still dominant. And then you have fisting, the nitro fist, where people ended up fisting each other, you know? Yeah, I said that intentionally because season 3 was filled with fisting. And then you go into like season 4, and the Marvel weapons actually dominated more than both the Fortnitemare weapons as well as the regular weapon pool. So the weapon meta just feels so mixed. They were just fun to use, but super annoying to fight against. And one thing I would say positive about chapter 5 was the story. And the one thing that actually carried the story was the giant MacGuffin throughout its year of like storytelling, which was the whole concept of Pandora's box. And even though I do appreciate Pandora's box being the big MacGuffin for like the new storytelling, it just doesn't hit right with the 0 point, because the 0 point was like the biggest MacGuffin before the giant change in like chapter 5. And I just want to give a shout out to Susie Young, who is the voice actor for Yuffie, who also voices Hope in chapter 5 story, and she's also like the new main character other than Jones. But shout outs to her for actually being the voice for Hope throughout this year of Fortnite. I also like the island diversity after each season, because it just didn't want to be bland, but rather make it feel unique to a degree. And then you have the battle passes for this year, and I really do appreciate the battle passes fitting in with the season's theme, but I will say, Epic, please, for the love of God, stop making joke characters into your battle passes. It's not worth it, and I don't feel like that they do not deserve a spot in the battle pass, in my opinion. Another thing to point out is that we've seen so many iconic Fortnite skins like Bright Bomber and Jones get skins for their battle pass, and I just really want to see brand new characters instead of that. Like, I do appreciate Vengeance Jones, but I don't like Captain Jones or Wolverine. I really appreciate the skins that came out in every season, but there has to be a way to like give us the quest rewards, because I don't like how the quest rewards start way later before the mid-season, and I just hope that they can actually like fix that at the start of chapter 6. But one big positive I really like about the battle pass changes was that starting with chapter 5 season 4, which was the Marvel season, that the battle pass will no longer be exclusive and it'll be available in the item shop a year and a half from when the season ends. This is honestly a great change to see because I really don't like the amount of FOMO that so many newer players that got into Fortnite 2 years ago missed out on some skins before Zero Build came in, and basically got players that got really tired of Warzone and Apex Legends and PUBG and wanted something new with Fortnite. And Zero Build was actually one of the biggest reasons why so many people actually got into Fortnite, and I got hooked with it, even though I came back into Fortnite back in 2021 during Chapter 2 Season 5. But overall, I feel like that Battle Royale was actually good, but bad at the same time. It's in the middle, in my opinion. It's mixed, it's fun, but it feels so lifeless, you know? And that's basically it for my thoughts for Battle Royale. And I just want to talk about the controversies that happened during Chapter 5. Yes, there are some controversies that happened throughout this year of Fortnite. And one of them was being the movement changes, and it did feel slower. However, it didn't stop some people from doxing developers, and it just really felt shitty on the community too. Like, these bad apples decided to do that, and it's really fucked up. And another thing I really didn't like this year was the sprint bar on this game, and I do get that they've been using it for years now, but I feel like that the sprint bar is literally the Achilles heel to some gunfights in Zero Build, in my opinion. I really don't like the locker UI for this chapter, and it is one of the worst ones. It's really buggy, it's really glitchy, and it's really difficult to navigate what I am searching for, and hopefully they can address that, and they are, with the new locker changes that happened in Chapter 2 Remix. So hopefully for Chapter 6 we get something that's really smooth and not as glitchy or buggy like this one. And one of the biggest controversial changes that is universally hated was the locker rarity change, and they basically removed it on any item that doesn't have Marvel, DC, icons, or Star Wars, to name a few of these series. And I really didn't like it because I like locker rarities because they actually sorted crap out on my locker. I do have the option to archive them, but it's just not enough. And another controversy, yet it's its own topic, was an actual fatigue of Fortnite through Chapter 5 Season 3. And literally the entirety of Chapter 5 Season 3 was one of the biggest controversial seasons ever and one of the worst seasons ever. And I don't want to go over it again, but you guys can actually take a look at my Fortnite Wrecked review in the descriptions down below. But Fortnite Wrecked was a disaster, and it was an utter garbage season for numerous reasons. And for that reasons, it just led to one of the worst gaming fatigues I've ever experienced for Fortnite. Yes, I've actually experienced a burnout from Fortnite because of that season. No one didn't want to play it. Even with Fortnite Reload being released and trying to save players, but it just didn't feel enough. And outside of gaming, there was events that I went to, as well as other games that came out, with like new DLC or new games that I actually tried out, like Star Wars Hunters. But to be honest, it's like that fatigue was the worst for Fortnite because the player base was actually dwindling because of that season alone. It didn't take up until D23 as well as the start of season 4 to actually get the players back. And yes, I still feel that like chapter 5 season 4 was like a saving grace for chapter 5 in general, because the last season was an entire disaster of epic proportions. And that's basically it for the fatigue for this game. And I actually want to just talk about the other modes now. So let's start it off with Fortnite Festival. So with Festival, it is actually one of the better modes than the other ones that I'm going to mention later, because it is a rhythm game after all, and Festival is actually one of the best modes they've actually made because Harmonix is actually working on that mode altogether. And just for like the shortest recap of what it is that like for easy to hard you get 4 buttons, while expert is the classic 5 button layout. And I played Festival way more than all the other modes that they introduced from the Big Bang event, and Festival is actually one of the best modes I've actually played if anyone wanted like a modern Harmonix rhythm game for like Rock Band 5, you know. I did like the addition of having pro bass and pro lead for the existing Rock Band 4 guitars, as well as the brand new one PDP actually released for that mode only. And even though I don't own one, it's still great for those that actually own those guitars still. There is also Jam Stage, which, to be honest, it's just like a social hub, but there's also like dailies you can do for it to like get like XP for that mode, but barely anyone uses it in my opinion. But it's good that it's there. And then there is Battle Mode, which does use EOMM. Like many people use the term SBMM, but SBMM feels like it is like for ranked and ranked only, but EOMM is for the casual playlist and casual gamers that many people don't like address more. And EOMM is way worse than SBMM, and it should not exist in like any multiplayer game ever, but people don't know about it and aren't aware of it. And the EOMM for battle mode is actually a good to like, it's in the middle type of EOMM compared to the bad EOMM that is in Battle Royale. And you have to like survive about 3 to 4 songs, and each instrument has their own advantages because they actually start the song before any other instruments. I really do like the usage of like overdrive being like an offensive move for people to like whiff on their notes, but it does look distracting visually, so I hope that is changed in the near future. So battle mode is good, but it gets repetitive at times. And one thing I really want to address is Epic, please credit your artists that actually did your songs, because it's really shady that you only have it credited as your company and not the actual artist that actually did those songs. One example I would say is Beyond the Flame. It was literally a collaboration with Periphery, Megadeth, and Korn, and they cooked on that song and the charts for that song, and to not get credit for it is really disappointing on Epic Games' end. And another song that Epic Games took the credit for was Rock Band 4's SLMP by Scratch and Sniff, And I really enjoy that song. It's just that the original artist didn't get credited for it. So Epic, please credit them. Otherwise, it would really feel crappy on your ends to actually have that type of like backlash on you. I really did enjoy the festival headliners for each season this year, but I really felt like The Weeknd and Lady Gaga was like one whole season of pop, you know? I really did enjoy Billie Eilish and like her alternative music, and then you have like Metallica being one of the best seasons for festival, with it being like a true love letter to rock band, and you have like Guns N' Roses finally in a harmonics mode like festival. But then you go into like Karol G, and it was a literal tightrope Epic actually walked upon, because it transitioned from one of the best seasons, which was Metallica, to one of the more meh seasons with Karol G. And then to like wrap up this year of Fortnite Festival for the year was Snoop Dogg. And Snoop Dogg is really beloved, and I really do enjoy him because he is from my home city, which is the LBC, and I really enjoy like his item bundle as well as his festival skin, which is paying a lot of homage to like California and like all the culture within it. One thing I really don't like for festival is like the amount of like instrument cosmetics that actually just fills up the entire like item shop space. But luckily there is a filter setting that is going to be happening for chapter 6 or in the near future, but hopefully that'll be addressed. And then another thing that I hope that many people can like talk about is the price for jam tracks. So currently each jam track is 500 V-Bucks each, and I really feel like that it doesn't feel necessary for jam tracks to be at least 500 V-Bucks. I think, and this is my hot take for jam tracks, I think that jam tracks should use real life money instead of it using V-Bucks. I know this is going to be a hot take, and I know I'm going to get clapped on, but hear me out. With Rock Band DLC, you actually paid real money for that. And I really do feel like that Epic can actually test the waters out with a mix of not only their V-Bucks stuff, but also have their jam tracks be used with the real life money stuff, just like Rock Band and their like Save the World bundle, as well as some of their item bundles with like Guardians of the Galaxy being like $30, which is really obscure and bananas. But this is something I want y'all to like leave a comment down below if you think that it would be a good idea for jam tracks to actually cost real money than it being V-Bucks. But in my opinion, Festival is one of the better modes than the other modes, but I do want to talk about the other ones. So jumping from Festival, we go straight into Lego. So with Lego Fortnite, it is a Minecraft-like that has sandbox and survival, and there's been a lot of like quality of life changes with that mode. And when I started playing it at first, it was actually fun at the beginning, but I think after the Star Wars update, I just dropped off of it because it just didn't feel appealing at all. And I really do enjoy that they're actually giving us new content, like they gave us like the Sky Islands and Klombo, and that was neat, but we need something that'll be like something that can actually get me back into it. And Lego is actually one of the reasons why some emotes did not come back to the item shop, because they weren't integrated into Lego, and that was like one of the biggest Achilles heels for like returning item bundles and emotes, is because they weren't integrated into Lego. So Lego is essentially like the Achilles heel of like Fortnite this year in terms of like item shop stuff that are like returning and rotating. But overall, like Lego Fortnite is actually a fun mode. It's just that the appeal and interest went down way fast in my opinion. So jumping from that, we go straight into Fortnite Reload. So with Reload, I will say this and I will like die on this hill, but I do feel like that Epic actually shot themselves in the foot with Reload. And essentially what it is that Reload is Epic's take on Call of Duty's Resurgence mode, where if you get eliminated, you respawn, but after like a certain amount of time, the respawns disable. And currently we have 2 maps right now, one being based off of Chapter 1, while the other is an Oasis map, a desert-like map that has some POIs that are from Chapter 1 and Chapter 3, as well as Chapter 2. And what I really enjoy about Reload is how insane it can get, as well as like the weapon pool that rotates every like downtime, or like 2 to 3 downtimes. And weapon diversity is one of the best things for Fortnite Reload. It's just that the mode itself is super sweaty in my opinion. The last mode I want to talk about is Rocket Racing. So with Rocket Racing, it was actually advertised as one of the big modes for Chapter 5, and it was also developed by Psyonix, the same devs that actually made Rocket League. And one of the things that I really like about this mode was that the cars that you own in Rocket League, like the Lamborghini Huracan or the Nissan Skyline R34, that is also transferable to Fortnite, which is a positive for Fortnite but also a negative for Rocket League. I really enjoyed the mode, but it is such a short match, every single match. And Rocket Racing is basically just like, it's just ranked racing without the power-ups. It just feels like a way more fun version of Hobbles Unleashed too. And it's a sad story for Rocket Racing because the game is now on life support, because it'll be now focusing on ranked rewards as well as weekly quest resets, and that's about it. And like, it got the Save the World treatment, but Save the World has more players than Rocket Racing, which is ironic and sad at the same time. And this is something that I wanted to have for Rocket Racing in order for that mode to be saved. And I just want Epic and Psyonix to hear me out on this, but if you guys disagree, please let me know in the comments down below. Alright, hot take number 2. I think Rocket League's Rocket Pass should have cross progression with not only that game, but also with Fortnite. And what I mean by that is that if you own the Rocket Pass on Rocket League, you can also have it in Fortnite while playing Rocket Racing. And you can also like have the XP be shareable on not only for that game, but also for Fortnite as well. If they did this, it would be good for the casual players to actually play Rocket Racing more, while some of the pro players and competitive players in Rocket League could actually stick with Rocket League altogether. And I really don't like dividing up the player base for Rocket League, but to me, I've played Rocket League for the past 9 years. The game's about to turn 10 next year, and I have like a giant Achilles heel when it comes to Rocket League, and it's just doing aerials. Even with like the practice and everything, I just can't get it right, so I'm always playing grounded at best. And if they do put in cross progression for the Rocket Pass, I would actually be completing the Rocket Pass for the current season of Rocket League, but they don't have it right now. But because of Rocket Racing, it also affected the RLCS, and that really sucked for that esports community. The prize pool being cut, the age being widened, yet you have the commentators getting laid off. Hell, even like G2 pulling out of Rocket League esports altogether. Not only Rocket League is also affected, but also Fall Guys is also affected as well. Yes, Fall Guys is in Fortnite, but it's way more clunkier than its original game. And I'm gonna be honest, I was so pissed off that they laid off basically the majority of the Mediatonic employees. And now they like phased out seasons with like fame passes every month, and now every item shop is essentially a collab. But there are really great quality of life changes that they have. It just feels like a ghost town at Mediatonic, but the game is like way more fun than the Fortnite version. And my overall thoughts on the other modes, it just felt like a hit or miss. Festival being one of the great modes that they have thanks to harmonics. You have Lego being a double-edged sword, and then you have Rocket Racing, which literally is like one of their decent modes, but it's such a bad mode. And even though like there was a high rating for like a re-review for Fortnite from IGN, giving it a 9, in my opinion, I would say that Fortnite this year is either a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. And let me explain why. You have to factor in the fact that there was controversy after controversy. You have to factor in that while the Battle Royale mode is fun, it was really annoying to like fight against other players. You have the other modes that are double-edged swords, Festival being one of the best ones, while Lego is like a hit or miss, and then Rocket Racing being a decent one to being like a really bad mode that doesn't have like cross progression with Rocket League's Rocket Pass. And that's about it for my review for Fortnite in 2024. Now, Fortnite in 2024 really did feel like a roller coaster filled with ups, downs, and loop-de-loops. I really did enjoy this year of Fortnite, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy this year of Fortnite. You know, there was the Fortnite fatigue during the summer because of all the events, as well as other games and DLC coming out for those games. And then, with this roller coaster, you also end up affecting not only Rocket League, but also Fall Guys as well. And here's the grim reality of Fortnite. I think that in November, it's gonna get nominated for Best Ongoing Game at the Game Awards. And when the Game Awards arrives, it's gonna lose to another game that is amazing like Elden Ring. And then you have the Fortnite community bitching about it again. Like HypeX and Sheena actually bitching about Fortnite getting snubbed for Best Ongoing Game. Like, if they lose again, this would be their 4th Game Award to actually lose Best Ongoing Game. And they're gonna be bitching about it again, which I really don't like when their game don't win and they start bitching about it on Twitter or Blue Sky. It's like, if you lose, just take the L. Otherwise, you're just making it bad for yourselves just by bitching about it. And I really want to pass the question off to you guys. What are your thoughts on Fortnite in 2024? I would love to know your thoughts down below. And I will see you guys next time. Take care, everyone. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like the video, comment down below, click subscribe, and ring the bell for any future videos I put up on the channel.